Okay, today we're going to do a Dutch oven chicken. The recipe that we're going to do is boneless stuffed chicken with a Parmesan mushroom sauce, and it's really good. So we're going to get started here, and what I have is a whole chicken that I've boned out. And we'll just lay that out with the skin side down. Press back in there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to season that up a little bit. We're going to use a little bit of rosemary. We're going to use a little bit of basil. You can use fresh if you have it. If you don't, just use some dried herbs. But we're going to put a little bit of seasoning salt on there. And we're also going to put a little bit of pepper. Got to get a little pepper in there. Okay, now I'm going to add to that 3 cloves of minced garlic, and what you want to do is just spread that around really good and get it all over in there. It's going to give it some added flavor. And then I have about 1/4 of a small onion minced up, and then I also have 1 stalk of celery chopped fine, and we'll put just a little bit of that around on there. Celery's good with poultry. And then also I have mixed up some stuffing. I prefer cornbread. Gives it a really good flavor. So what we'll do is we'll just spread that cornbread on here. You can't put too much in, but you kind of want it everywhere. Okay, and so now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this in, and we're going to start wrapping it up. Get us a nice little stuffed chicken. This is a chicken that I bought at the grocery store, and I boned it out myself. If you don't know how to do that, either get on YouTube and check it out. It's really easy. There's several guys that make quick work of it, and you can figure it out. About anybody can do it. And if not, you can have your butcher bone that out for you if you have a butcher shop that's full service. Okay, so we got the chicken almost tied together and wrapped up. We just want to get it tight so that it will stay together while it's cooking. It doesn't have to look perfect. It doesn't have to be anything special. You can see a little stuffing coming out here and there, and that's okay. Don't worry about that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put a little more seasoning on it. Quite a bit more seasoning. Some more basil. And some more thyme, and a little bit of pepper. You want to just kind of pat that down a little bit, make sure it sticks, and do the other side. This is going to cook down into the sauce that we're going to make. It's going to be really good. I have a 10-inch Dutch oven that's clean, and to that I'm just going to add a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. That's just to get the chicken started. And I'm going to bring the chicken over, and I'm going to place that in there, and I like the back of the chicken up if that's where you started boning it. The open part of the chicken we want to go down. So now we have the chicken in there, and 1 chicken fits really nice in this 10-inch oven. If you're going to do 2, you'll have to go to a 12-inch oven, and 3, you'll have to go to a 14-inch oven. So now I have some briquettes that are hot, and I got to give them just a minute, and then I'll show you how to start this up. The coal's laid down. This oven hasn't been started. I'm going to put it right on there. You need a fair amount of heat on the bottom, but you don't want to burn it. And then on the top, you need some substantial heat, because we're going to roast this chicken. And so I'm going to go all the way around the lid, and I'm also going to add about 3 more with that. So rule of thumb is 25 degrees per briquette, and this dish is going to take about an hour and a half to cook that chicken. We need to get the temperature up somewhere around 160, 165 before we pull it out. So we're just going to let it go now, and in a few minutes, maybe half an hour, I'll show you how it's looking. Just about an hour on this chicken roasting it. I've added a little bit of coals underneath and a little bit more on top, and it looks like we're done. And I have checked it, and our internal temperature is now 165. So we need to get that out of there. And as you can see, it's browned good, and then there's some really good juice in there. We're going to leave the juice, but we're going to take that roast out, that whole chicken, and put it in some tin foil and wrap it up and let it sit for a minute. What we want to do is just we want to wrap this up, just let it continue to cook, and now we're going to make some really good sauce to go on that chicken. So in the pan we have just the juice that's cooked out of the chicken. To that we're going to add 4 tablespoons of butter, a half a cube. We're going to add 2 pieces of green onion, the whole thing, and we've just chopped it up. So we have the whole stalk and everything on the green onion, and then we have about 2 tablespoons of cilantro that's chopped up coarsely. And then right here we have about a cup and a half, 2 cups that are chopped up. I think it's 3 or 4 ounces of a package. We're gonna and let them start cooking, and just a minute we'll add the cilantro and butter in here, and the butter's melted and the mushrooms are starting to cook down a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add the green onions that are chopped and cilantro into that mix, and we're going to go ahead and just stir that in and let it cook for a minute. We want those mushrooms to get a little bit softer, and then we'll go ahead and finish the sauce. Well, let's let that go. Just going to sit and simmer. It's going to take about 2 or 3 minutes. You can see it bubbling, so it's going pretty quick. Okay, our mushrooms are cooked down. To that mix right there, to the sauce, we're going to add approximately a 1/4 cup of white wine. And that will just kind of deglaze everything, and it just gives this sauce such a great flavor. We're also going to add a cup, let me grab this right here, 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. We'll just kind of mix those up. We need to let that come back up to a simmer where it's bubbling a little bit, and then we'll add the final ingredient. This will thicken as it cooks, so let's give it a couple minutes and let it catch up. Okay, as you can see, we got this simmering good, it's bubbling, and now we're going to add the final ingredient, some Parmesan cheese. The better the cheese, the better the flavor. So that'll be great right there. I'm just going to stir that in just a little bit, and we're going to let that thicken. And while that's doing that, we're going to cut this roast and show you what it looks like. Doesn't that look nice? Got just a little bit of extra juice there. Just add that back into the sauce. Gives it so much more flavor. Okay, we have strings all over this roast that we need to get rid of. Cut these strings off and just pull those out. Get rid of them. That's hot. And I think there's one more right there. Okay, so now what we want to do is we just want to slice it a little bit so you can see what we've got. You can see that we have a really nice stuffed chicken. It's still moist to the touch and good. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take a couple pieces of that and show you how to eat that. If you're worried about that skin that's on there and don't like it, just peel it off as you get it on your plate. It will come right. I want to just take some of this cream sauce, you don't need a lot, and just put it right on that chicken. and it is so good. It has a cheesy, creamy flavor to go with that stuffed chicken. It's really awesome. It's rich and just really good. Give it a try. I think you'll really like it. It's really simple to make and it's fun. Your kids will like it. Give it a go. Okay.